broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing out there in Virtue Land? Okay, they're coming on now. Good to see everybody. In fact, I can't see who you are for some reason. I don't know why, so I can't call you out and welcome you, but I see people coming on, and glad to have you guys. I sent out the email kind of late this week, but Colby sent over some bullet points of what he's going to cover tonight, and this is going to be a very informative webinar for you guys. We're not selling anything, so don't worry about that. I'm selling something after the webinar that you're going to like, but we're not selling anything during this webinar. We're going to try to keep it right at an hour, but he has a lot of great content. I'm sure you've received some of the emails that he sent in the past week regarding his case study and what he's doing successfully. He and his team are doing successfully. And guys, you need to ride the coattail of this because this stuff is working, especially on dealing in the hospitality hotel front, which is a great area. Sometimes there can be some red tape when you're dealing with hospitality, but I think Colby might have a good handle on it. And I would think that they're up there on the top of the list of businesses that reviews are vital. What people are saying, and there's specific sites, as you know, TripAdvisor being the big one, that are out there all across the internet and growing every day that are specific just for travel and hotel booking and flights and all that. So the review angle is massive on that front. So I'm very happy that what he's sharing with you guys. I don't know if you've had a chance to go through it, but he's got at least a full hour plan. So I'm not going to take too much time, and we don't want to keep you guys here all night. But let's see. So we've got a few more people coming on. We'll just kind of give it just a few more minutes and let everybody get on. It's right now 8:02 my time, Eastern time. So I'd like to welcome everybody. And I've been kind of playing around with Google. Google's changed a lot of things. They're constantly changing things. Of course, now it's called Google Local, which was Google Places. But I'm trying to playing around with different browsers and even on mobile devices, because I think this might be location specific, and I don't have a handle on this yet, but I'm working on it. And maybe you guys have figured this out. Colby, you might even have figured this out before me, but I'm really trying to get an understanding what Google's doing now. A lot of times when you have a localized search, like particular Asheville plumber, you're able to sort results now I'm not able to see it now, and I don't know why. And I think it has to do with the geo-targeting. So I'm trying to figure that out. But I have done some searches, and I was able to filter out the results based on the rating, the reviews. They're changing their micro format, their data here with the stars, and they're giving us a number now, which is kind of cool. But on some browsers and some searches that I've done, and unfortunately I didn't save all those searches because I'll just, I'll get in test mode and I'll just go through and start testing things out, and not always will I save everything. But I did have a couple searches come up where I could filter out the reviews the results based on the rating. So I could go in, I could say I only want to see reviews that are 3 and 4 stars, or 3, 4, and 5 stars, and then would put those in front, just basically almost like if you're alphabetizing something. It would change the order, or you're just filtering out something in a spreadsheet. You're able to do that. So I want you to think about that for a moment, because that's pretty huge when you're prospecting, talking to a business owner, and you can go in and show them, if you're able to show them, where people that are searching for them are searching for their type of business, maybe looking for a plumber or a locksmith or whatever it may be at the time, is they're able now. This is how strongly that Google's placing reviews. They're focusing on reviews being a strong factor, as many other sites are as well, where you can actually start looking at results, search results based on how many reviews a company has. So what's gonna happen eventually? Um, I mean, think about it. A user can come in and set a filter up, and I think this is coming down the road to where they only want to see search results when they do a local search for a business, of course. Wouldn't apply to more generic type searching, but on a localized level, when they're searching for a business, they can set up a filter where it doesn't even display a business that has a star rating of, let's say, 3 or less. So now think about the impact on a business that's struggling with bad reviews. So, and they have maybe 2 stars. They average 2 stars or 1 star even, and they're not even showing up on a search result because they've been filtered out. So this is where things are moving, guys. I want you to start thinking about this. And I'm going to get a handle on this thing as I normally do. And I'm going to figure out how they're doing this and what level it's on and all the technical mumbo jumbo. I really want to get a handle on this because this is a big selling point. When you talk to a business, you can sit in front of them and then do a search on their industry, location industry, and then let them know that a user, somebody searching for them, can filter out the content based on what people think and feel about them. All right, so that's pretty massive as
Yeah,
a
I want
selling
to.
tool.
I want to touch on something like that too. There's also a flip side of that, but I've known this was coming. I haven't seen this in action yet, so I would definitely like you to keep me in the loop on that if it's rolled out to your area and you can see some of that stuff happen. But we have known this is going to happen for a while. Ever since Google's latest patent release on how they do their algorithm for searches, they had a heavy emphasis on reviews and review sites. They admitted they crawled review sites. That's why it's so important that the businesses that you have under you have even the address match up completely. If you have East period or E period Parkway on one profile, city search, and then on Google Plus you have East Parkway where it's actually spelled out, that minor difference alone can start getting your reviews filtered because Google's crawling all of them and checking them. But the the fact that they admit that they're putting this heavy emphasis on the review sites lets you know that they're moving in this type of direction. And so it's going to be almost mandatory that that companies start managing their online presence, and positions that we are in right now when the tools that we offer is going to be just as standard as having someone operate your front desk or a manager. And it's awesome that we're on the
Yeah,
front wave of this kind of thing. And I think it's interesting that you say that you're going to be able to sort them because, that's going to be very beneficial for a customer who's looking for stuff. Obviously, Google's all about relevance. So a person who's looking for a dentist is always probably looking for the best dentist. Hardly ever will they look for the worst dentist,
right.
right? But then again, there's also people like us. We are looking for the worst dentist. So if you can do a search for dentist and then sort it to only show you 2 or 1, that might be a really cool free way of finding some leads right there.
Yeah,
So yeah, if you could
absolutely. That's a
figure
good
that
point.
out.
And then it just and just kind of copy those results into into Notepad and sort them out, and you've got kind of a crude way of prospecting, but it's free. But I just want you to start thinking about this because this is alone. Once this gets sorted out and becomes more mainstream, this is a major prospecting tool when you can literally go in and show the #1 search engine in the world, and a user has the ability to filter out these businesses that they don't want to mess with, that have horrible ratings. In some industries, it's gonna kill them. I mean, what if you're able to go in, and I think this is coming. I may not be right, but I do think it's coming, where you're going to be able to set your browser up initially to filter out this. So every search you do on a localized level is not going to be displaying whatever threshold you set the filter at. It's not going to be showing you those results. So a business that has a poor rating is going to be completely invisible to the searcher. That potentially not even show up, even no matter what SEO, what they do with their website SEO-wise or off-site SEO, anything they do, links that they have, they're not going to be displayed because they've been filtered out by the actual user, because Google wants the user to have a better experience, and they
Exactly.
want to give the information like Colby said, they don't want to. The Google doesn't want to give a user a dentist that has 1 star, that's pulling everybody's teeth out and they're all getting infected.
Exactly.
So that makes perfect sense. And I think I've got a pretty good hunch on this, and my intuition's, not always right, but it's a lot of times it is right. And I think things are moving in this direction where you're going to be able to customize your search in
Yeah,
that
it's
respect.
definitely moving in the direction. How it moves there and what all the details are blurry, but there's no doubt that it's moving in that direction. That's
Yeah.
100% apparent, and it's been moving in that
So
direction.
yeah, so I want you guys to think about this now, because this would be a huge selling point to be in front of a business owner and show them, hey, listen, here's what I'm able to do as a customer. What if I'm a potential customer and I search for your name and I'm able to filter you out completely? Why? Because you have negative reviews across the internet and this is how it's affecting you. You're becoming invisible. You're invisible to a searcher that's looking for your type of business. Okay, so that's why I wanted to mention this tonight, because I think it's vital, and I'm gonna stay on top of this and keep you guys updated, because they're doing some strange things, browser based, and I don't understand it quite yet. But if anybody can shed any light on that, feel free to comment or reach out. But as soon as I get information on it, I'll keep you guys updated, of course, on that, because I think it's a major aspect of this whole thing with reviews, and it shows you that the monumental shift that's taking place throughout the web, not only Google but throughout the web, where everything is being the emphasis is being placed on reviews and what people think and feel about that particular business. So, that's my piece. I just wanted to throw that out to you guys, and I'm going to turn this over to Colby, and because I know he has a ton of stuff to share. Colby/Kier. It's really Colby, but I guess you're using the main account. So why don't you take it over, Bud, and then we'll let you go through and do your thing.
All right. I have a pretty big screen, so let me know if it's easy to see. Is there any problems viewing it right now? Can you see my screen pretty good?
So it's looking good on my end.
All right. So I'm going to cover a couple of things. There's some new updates. I'm going to blow through these fairly quickly, and then we're going to get into the meat of the purpose of this, which is some practical applications of selling. But just before we get into that, I do want to touch a couple things. So if you notice, when you go to www.reviewus.com and the Start Selling section, if you click on that, there is some new little tabs over here that starts giving a lot more information. So as people who are going to be selling this, whether it's yourself, if you want to find out some information, or as you're sharing this, we do have people that decide they want to become sales directors and have a team help them actually do this. And it's hard to explain everything to everybody. So I just want to let everybody know that there's a lot of information here, such as what we do as a business, what our tools are, and how to earn income and how to sign up. So I just wanted to first let everybody know that those are added. This won't apply to everybody. There are a lot of white labelers, but I do want to touch up on that for the people that are going to watch this and who are interested in that kind of stuff. The next thing that I want to get over is actually some training. So I've been having a lot of people who has been asking me where to get some training and stuff like that, and they've been asking me some specific questions. The first place you always want to go to for training is going to be the person above you, your sales director, your referrer. So in a lot of your cases, it may be Chris, it may be me, it may be Nick. But a lot of the people in this particular webinar, Chris is going to be your go-to guy. So he's going to have a lot of material, a lot of training material, and it's going to be applicable to different people because different people have different things that they have. Chris has a lot of really awesome tools that you can bundle in. So a lot of his white labelers are going to have some specific training and some specific stuff that makes sense for him. So you always want to contact him first. But universally, as a lot of you noticed, we have some additional training stuff that's happening. So we're going to have a sales support page that's on its way. And at this sales support page, we're going to have training videos, tutorial videos. We're going to have presentation makers. So you're going to be able to quickly upload a logo of a business and fill out a couple details of information, and instantly a presentation will be created, somewhat similar to the ones that I send in my case study I've been sending out. We'll have different templates, so there'll be some ones to choose from. But I just want to make everybody aware of some cool stuff that's coming out. We're going to start trying to make things a lot easier on you, whether you're doing mass emails or presentations. Chris has something too that's pretty cool that he's going to talk to you a little bit later. That's going to kind of be in the same area, and it's something we'd include in this area of sales support. But basically, it's just going to be a page where everybody can go and get all the tools they need. We're also going to have a forum in there so you guys can communicate, and we're going to try to build a little community where people can ask questions, whether it's, hey, how are you getting past gatekeepers? Or, hey, what are some tricks you're using to close doctors? And that way everybody can kind of communicate with everybody else and share ideas. One thing I noticed is, there's some basic techniques to selling, but everybody's going to have their own personality and their own spin to it. Everybody's going to have their own background where they can add something to the sell. Every now and then I'm talking to someone, they're asking me questions on how to sell something, and I'm telling them my techniques. But then I listen to them, and they come up with a new spin on it. So this forum will be great for that because it'll allow everybody to kind of learn off everybody else and make everyone better as a whole. So I just want to make everybody aware of that it's coming, and to be aware of it. The next thing I'm going to talk about is, if y'all don't know about this, please get in contact with me or Chris. But we do have a contest that's going on right now. So the first 5 businesses that get signed up will win $250, and you're also going to win either a free lead Kahuna lead generator, which is the lead generator that I personally use to do all my email blasts. If you already have it, we'll give you the cash value of it, which is about $300. So if you're not aware of that, get in touch with us. I'll let you know the details, but it's a contest that's going on, and it's a really good one because it's about $500, extra for signing up businesses. All right, so now that we got that, here's what I want to talk about. So the way I personally find leads is through a lead generator, but this isn't the only way that you can do this. There's a lot of other options. I do that particular way because it cuts a lot of corners, but not everybody has a lead generator. So I want to talk about some free ways that I used to do it. One of the first ways that I ever used to find leads is simply going to Yelp. Everybody has access to do this, so you can just type in the keyword that you're looking for, the city that you're looking for, and I would just scan through, and I would pick on the 5th or 6th page down, and usually there you'll start seeing right here, you'll start seeing some 3s, some 2.5s, and something like this. One with 3 reviews, this is an ideal candidate. Why? Because it's a bad business, right? But it's only a bad business because of 3 reviews. What this means is if you sign this guy up, within the first week, when 1 review goes live, you can instantly have this guy a 4-star business. And so he will instantly see value in what you were able to do for him. So this is someone I would definitely click into and add to my list. So you can see that he's got a couple of negative reviews. I would probably highlight one of the shorter ones, copy it, and we would look for a website to their business. Usually they have it like right here, and you'd click into it, find their email, and I would use the same template that I use in the case study that I sent out, which is basically a really ambiguous question to whoever that email goes to. It states something along the lines of, who can I talk to about a negative review? Whenever that will be in the subject line. That's a question that is going to be really hard for anybody at that business to not open up. So when they open the review up, it goes, hi, I was looking for, and in this case, I would say a dentist in Houston, Texas. You would cater it to whatever you're looking for and say, I found this negative review. I would paste the negative review inside of the template, and then I'd simply ask, who is someone I can talk to about this, and then send my name. This template is really easy to do because you only have to interchange a few things: the business, the city, and the actual review. So you can quickly copy and paste a lot of this stuff in and hit up a lot of areas. If you're doing dentist in Houston, the only thing you really need to change every time is the review. So quickly I would be able to back out and scan to the next one. Here's another 3-star. I would go in here, find a negative review. Here's one negative review for 1 star. Here's their website. Come in here, get the email, and do the same thing. And you would just do this until you get a nice little list going. So this is one of the free ways that I would do this. What's great about that method is when Becky, the front desk clerk, opens up that email, or whoever's the front desk manager that's responsible for clicking those kind of emails. What typically happens is they see this negative review and they go, "This is above my pay grade. I'm not supposed to answer questions like this. This is a really personal question. I know my supervisor is the one who wants to handle this." So they forward this on to their supervisor. Or if it's a smaller business, sometimes it's directly to the owner. I get responses from either owners, marketing managers, or supervisors. Sometimes they give me their cell phone directly, direct emails, all kinds of stuff. But the point is, you instantly bypass that gatekeeper who would typically give you trouble. If you were to send an email saying, "Hi, I have this really great product that helps you do this and this and that," the front desk lady's going to delete, 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 delete. It happens all day long. It's the last thing that they're going to do is open up, some sales letter. So what this does is it instantly bypasses that because you come in a little ambiguous. You're not doing anything dishonest because all you're saying is what you did. I searched for you and I found this. Who can I talk to about it? The next reason that this is great is it instantly puts the next person who gets forwarded the email, the decision maker, into a problem-solving mood. This problem is instantly put in their face, right? This 1 star review that you paste, when you put what their customers were saying about them, their natural instinct is to resolve this, to explain this to you. So they're in a problem-solving mood with their response or whenever they contact you. And the great thing about that is that's the first thing you want to establish as a salesman, that there is a problem. If you establish there is a
Right.
problem, then they're going to relate to that and they're going to want to hear the solution, right? And so that's the whole key of this method that I'm using is it kind of knocks out a lot of birds with one stone and with minimal amount of skill
Mhm.
or anything like that necessary. So basically, instantly to the right
Yeah,
person.
hey, let me interrupt a second.
Yeah,
Hey, Colby, sorry to interrupt you, man. There's a little delay, so sometimes we might talk over each other.
no
But
problem.
you guys need to pay attention to this right now because what he's saying is very important. And basically, what we're doing is we're establishing um, a problem within a question. Okay, so we're asking a question which is going to obviously get some kind of response, right? And we're going to get a response to that question, but at the same time, we're revealing that there's an issue. Who can I talk to? Who can I talk to regarding these negative reviews online? What negative reviews? What are you talking about? So that's very important what he's saying here on how we're killing two birds with one stone. So pay attention to this. This is very good information on how to prospect.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole deal with sales is, you qualify your customer, you get them to admit that there's a problem because that's all selling is. You're selling a solution to the problem. And all the different tricks in selling, whether it's online, in person, cold calling, the first thing you got to do is establish that there is a problem and that they relate to. And this is by far the easiest uh, sell that I've ever done in establishing a problem because it's in black and white and it's rated how big of a problem is, right? A 1 star is the biggest problem you can have, and 2 star, 3 star, so on. And the business itself is rated as how likely they are to use you. A 1 star business is mandatory that they have someone start managing this. It's very clear that they haven't been managing this before,
Right.
and stuff like that. So this is one of the awesome things about what we're doing is you can search who needs you and you can establish problems very quickly. So what happens next? So we get past the gatekeeper. We've established there's a problem and they're responding with this in a very problem solving mood. And what happens next? So the next thing that I usually do is I respond with another template. And when I say next, really, it really depends. What happens when you do this, especially when you use a lead generator and you have this process automated, like I'll talk about next, I have so many emails flooded in on Monday morning from about 5 minutes worth of work that I literally have to go through. And the biggest thing that takes the most time is separating into owners who are giving me their cell phone that I just need to call directly, or follow up emails where I send a template out. And so we'll talk about the second template first. That's where you're kind of staying in this email conversation. So what I do is, if they start explaining themselves and they're offering this customer service, one of the main things that I'll do is, first is I'll congratulate them on that. I say, wow, this is awesome customer service. This is something I like seeing. What that does is it makes them want to continue reading the next thing you're saying, right? They're feeling like they're doing a good job, and they're less defensive. We're not attacking them, and we want to relate to their problem. We want to make the business feel like this isn't an isolated problem. There isn't a problem that is unique to you that you can't fix. What it is this is an unbalanced system in general. The rating system is set up so that more likely unhappy customers are going to go through the tedious nature of going to Yelp, logging in or creating an account, finding the business, writing this long review, right? It's more likely a person who had a bad experience is going to do this. So what you try to do is convey that in the message that, hey, I totally understand what's going on. We understand that, usually there's just a couple of customers who had a bad experience or maybe didn't understand policy, and they went out of their way to go express that online, where there may have been 95 other people that week that came in, had a great time, a wonderful experience, maybe even high-fiving people on their way out, but they just never left a review. And so after you've established a problem and you've sympathized with them, then you start going into talking about what the solution is. So you don't give away all the solution. You just explain that there is a solution and that you would like to talk to somebody about it. This is usually when I include my
Yeah, and
present. Go ahead.
sorry about that. Another point I want to interject where you're saying that, and while you're on this topic here, is, and I've mentioned this before, because it's worth mentioning again. You want to try to make this personal without being personal. And what I mean by that is, let me ask you what's more impactful for a business owner to hear. You know, there's some people saying bad things about you online, or how about this? Do you know that what people think and feel about you online, they're saying bad things? So in other words, when you start using what people think and feel, and you ask them, do you realize what people are saying and what they think and feel about you online? It makes it more personal without, kind of driving it down their throats. Obviously, excuse me. We want to try to we want to drive it home and bring it on a personal level, so where they get it and they feel it more so than just, well, here's what people are saying about you. Well, people can say anything, but what do those people actually think and feel about us? That brings it on a more personalized level.
Yeah, absolutely. And people make all kinds of decisions when they're based on emotion, right? And so when you get someone in an emotional state, that's when they start making decisions and buying decisions, stuff like that. And a lot of these people that you talk to, you got to realize, when you're the owner of the business, any of you who have owned businesses before, I've owned businesses and I put in a lot of work. When I used to own a indirect cell phone company, me and my wife went in there, we tore down the wall, we painted, we set it all up. I mean, that was my baby. It was a part of me. And if someone were to come in there and tell me it was horrible or ugly, it would, really hurt my ego just as much as if you were called, me ugly or something like that. So people's egos related to this. No one wants to look bad out there. And so when these people are putting these negative reviews online, it's affecting them personally. It's saying, like, kind of like, you're doing a bad job, right? And so when you can display this in a way, and you even show them next to their competitors, you really pluck on some human heartstrings with this. And you don't want to do it ever in an aggressive way. That's why I always say you sympathize with them first, that you're aware that this problem is happening, but there's a solution, and it's not their fault. But they will inherently, by reading this and knowing this and the reviews being put in their face, will understand that there is a problem. I'll give you an example. Like I said, after I've kind of established a problem, sympathized with them, and that there is a solution, I usually send out a presentation. This is an example of a presentation. It's I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you see it? Is it big enough? Chris, you able to see it clearly? Chris?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an example of a presentation here. Usually all my presentations are pretty close in similarity. The only thing that I do when I get into a more detailed presentation, so like maybe if I find a owner who I think is a little bit more likely to buy, or he's a for sure decision maker versus maybe just an office manager, I will get a real personalized presentation for him. And so this is a recent one that I've got. I'm going to put this case study up as well, but this is with a Las Vegas, or excuse me, with a dentist. This is actually a dentist, a sales agent of mine is having. And so they have a really good establishment. It's really fun for kids and everything, but there's a couple things that are wrong there, and they have some really, really bad reviews. And so I send this in there, and the first thing that we go through is we establish that there are negative reviews. We don't have to tell them that they're a bad business. We're just going to show them what we're finding online when we do look for them. Here's for example, they have a kid in a straight jacket. One of these customers actually posted on there, and that's got to be really bad. And especially when a business can't explain what that's for. I actually recently had my kid have to do this, and I was extremely emotional having my kid go through this. But I understand why the dentist did it when they allowed me to stay in the room. Typically, dentists won't allow you to stay in there because they know parents can't handle this, or they get upset and they go post a negative review online like this. But because the dentist knew me and I was able to stay in the room, I saw the necessity for something like this. But the idea is that if they had been using an online reputation manager, they would be able to collect customers' um, reviews and their thoughts internally without them going public. And so what I like to do is kind of show them that all these reviews are all things that could have been avoided. These are all things that could have been collected internally and kind of hit a buffer, and they could have been fixed or explained. You know, a manager could have explained to them what was going on, or a customer at the very least could have vented through the online review or the mobile app review tool. And once they vented that way, they're going to be way less likely to go and then vent again somewhere else. You know, unless the business itself isn't, managing the problem very well. But that's the first step that I do in the presentation is we kind of reiterate this problem, and we do it at a personalized level where they can actually see all these different reviews that could have been fixed. The next thing that I do is I kind
Hey,
of,
Colby.
yeah.
Hey, 1 second here. I hate to keep interrupting you, but I want to come in with this point. I was had a couple messages. They wanted me to clarify the personal thing, and I was choking over some protein powder. So let me repeat that. Yeah.
Jump in anytime, man. I want
Sorry
this.
about that, guys. They wanted me to repeat it, but I was basically we're gonna be personal without being too personal, and we're gonna, instead of asking, do you know what? Let me ask you what you think is more impactful from hearing it as if you were a business owner. Do you know what people are saying about you online, or do you know what people say or think and feel about you online? So obviously, when we start talking about think and feel, it becomes more personal than just what people are saying. It drives it on a personal level, but at the same time, we're not offending anyone by saying that.
And can I take that
So
a
I just
step
wanted to
further,
clarify that.
Chris? Can I take that a step
Yeah,
further? Um, Saying, "Do you know what people are saying about you?" Online, that can lead to a simple yes or no. A more even more impactful question might just to be a simple question of what are people saying about you online. That really forces them to think and give an explanation, and it's an open-ended question, and it starts the conversation. If you ask them a yes or no question, especially if you're doing some calls, he just may be like, yeah, or he just may be like, no. But if you ask him a question that's exactly on point with what you're talking about, and you say, what are people saying about you online? He can't just go no or yes. He's going to say, well, I don't know. There's some reviews, and it's going to start a conversation. And if they say I don't know, that's bam. They just gave you a weapon to close the deal. You should know what people are saying
yeah.
saying about you online. Just the point of attack.
Use your own judgment here. It's you use your own judgment, guys. Depending on the industry you're dealing with, where maybe you're talking to a business or an industry where a lead has tremendous value, so they really covet that lead. Maybe the cost per customer is over $1,000. So if they lose a lead
Huge.
or a customer, for example, then it could impact their business for that week or for that month. So you want to use your own discretion as a consultant. You would want to. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat here, but you can use the personal approach for different types of businesses, and you can ask that open-ended question that Colby recommended as well. But just think outside the box a little bit
Yeah,
and get creative with it, because we're trying to drive this home and get them thinking and start realizing, well, man, I don't know what's going on online, or this is personal. This is affecting not only the business owner, because business owners take it personal themselves, because they chances are they put all their blood, sweat, and tears into the business.
exactly.
So that's why we want to get that across, so they feel it too, not just, oh, your business. This is directed to Mr. Business Owner without singling him or her out.
Absolutely, and just like you said, one customer may cost them $1,000, but in the case of a dentist, it may cost them that for the rest of that customer's life. I talk to dentists a lot about this or even sales agents when I'm explaining how to sell this. Is that most people always look up a dentist or doctor or something like that before they go visit them. I only got one set of teeth and I smile daily. So I'm not going to let just anyone drill and bang on them, right? So I want to find out what some other people's experiences are before I go visit, a dentist. I've had some bad ones in the past, and so I always kind of look that up. The same thing with doctors or surgeries. I've had quite a bit of surgeries doing jujitsu, and the one thing that I know is that I only have one body. My knee, I've had my meniscus removed, and I wanted to look up the doctors who were doing surgeries and make sure other people were coming out okay. So a lot of other people think that way. And the thing is with doctors and dentists is once you find one, you pretty much marry that person. And when I say that, I mean it's not like you swap out dentist or a doctor like you do restaurants. You may go to 3 or 4 different restaurants, stop going to this restaurant, but typically people, when they find a dentist that they like, they go to that dentist for the rest of their lives, or at least for a really, really long time. So if your first impression when you look up a dentist in your area, say you move to a spot and you go onto Yelp or whatever, and you look for a dentist and you see a 1-star dentist and then a bunch of 3 and 4 stars, I can almost say with certainty that nobody's clicking on that 1-star dentist and saying, let's go to this guy. I mean, almost with certainty. There may
Right.
be some, but almost with certainty they're not doing that. So if I click into a 3-star
Yeah.
or 4-star and I go visit that dentist, and it's within my radius, I'm probably not ever going to give that other guy a try. And so you got to think about how often are people doing that and then leaving them for life, right? You're losing customers forever. And probably, within a radius of their business, they could lose so many that they can kind of plateau and never be able to get out of this stuff. So it's really, really important for
Yeah,
them.
and then I don't want to bring. Yeah, and Colby, I don't want to bring you off topic here, because I know you got more to cover, but this is, kind of important information here too. And the thing is Google and the other review sites are doing the work for us. What I
Mhm.
mean by that is they're bringing this to the forefront, to the attention of surfers or potential customers, that they need to read a review on a business before deciding to engage in business with them. So they're doing the work for us. They're bringing us to the forefront and making it more public knowledge. And as more review sites start popping up left and right, it's going to become more common knowledge where a consumer, that's the word I was looking for, consumer is just by nature, they're going to go in and automatically look at a review before they do anything. A lot of companies, or a lot of customers now, consumers, maybe they don't realize that they can find reviews on businesses, because it's not as commonplace as it will be. But eventually, that's going to be the first order of business. Is you're automatically going to look at the review before you decide to do anything. Just like pretty much you do on Amazon, on the buying sites. If you're looking for a new product, you're conditioned to check out those reviews before you do anything. So that's going to be that is already being carried over towards this segment this space we're in, reputation management, in terms of local businesses. So
It,
yeah,
yeah, and it's only getting more important. I mean, with the integration of Yelp into the iPhone with Siri, I mean, you can't even get directions to a business without seeing what their ratings are. And that brings up another point, that I try to talk to people is that even if someone isn't looking for the reputation of your business or anything like that, even if they're a regular or whatever, even if I'm just telling a friend to meet me at this business and they try to look up directions, they'll sometimes see the ratings right there. And what happens is when you see that negative information in front of you, and or you see like a review saying that, oh, it's always busy in there, or oh, that lady's rude, this or that, you walk in there with these negative goggles on and you start looking for those things. So if it was a positive thing, you may walk in there and you may not even pay attention that it was a long wait because it was so beautiful inside there. And when the food got there, you heard about it being so good and how awesome the food was. That's what you were thinking about, and you didn't really notice the noise. But if it's a negative thing, it's just the opposite. The food may be excellent, but yeah, it is noisy in here. And it's just all those reviews had an impact on you before you even went in. So it's not necessarily all the people who are searching for it. With the integration into these iPhones, it's just becoming just this huge uh,
yeah,
part of it where it's entering in all different avenues of what impact it actually has on them. And just like you said with Amazon, there's a lot of things that I don't even buy on Amazon, but I still Google on the Amazon what the reviews are. If there's a new product I'm looking at in a store, I'll Google real quick what the reviews are on that product and see what other people on Amazon are saying about it before I buy it. And it's only going to get more like that.
right.
There's a billion smartphones in the hands of people now, and that's only going to get more. It's getting more and more easy for people to find businesses 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have to have a monitoring
Yeah,
system and a way to see this. Go ahead.
that's a good point. That's a very good point. It's being put in our face right now, whether we're searching for reviews or not. So specifically, and it's gradually getting more to where those reviews are being put right in front of our face, and it all goes back to Google and other search engines as well as review sites. Is they want to give a better user experience. Google, that's their number one thing. Is they want to have, when you search for something, they want you to get what you're searching for. They don't want a bunch of garbage sites to come up. They want you to get exactly what you're searching for. So this is centered around that concept of let's give not only the customer exactly what they're searching for, but let's get them a good business with positive reviews that they're searching for.
Absolutely. All right. So to get back on into the presentation, after we show and reestablish, some of these negative reviews, I start talking about the importance of knowing, kind of like the question, do you know what people are saying about you online? What are people saying about you online? If the question is, I don't know, it's probably because you don't have a really good tool for managing it. You're not going to log into Yelp and then Google and then Foursquare and all these other 44 possible sites that you exist on. So to have a dashboard where you can easily see where what people are saying about you online, they'll instantly start to see value with that question that you are asking them. And the next thing we go through, I mean, the slides go through, but what I like to do is take a logo of their business. So this happens to be Super Dentist, and I basically quickly just add it to these little phones. I get inside and I build their mobile app real quick, so they can really identify with this and they can start seeing this. Oh, that's really cool. They can see their logo on the phone, and that usually has a really good impact. And they can see that it's customizable and that they can change it. I also show that there's repeat customer apps where they're and I take a screenshot from their business. You can see it's a really playful business, but it kind of builds some value to this product and at least perks their interest that, oh, this is a really cool tool. I'd like to learn more about this. And that's the idea of what this email is, as I was originally saying, is that we're not selling how we do this just yet. We're just selling that we are capable of doing this. A lot of mistakes that people make on initial emails or even on phone calls is that they try to sell the product on a cold call. That's not the idea of a cold call. The purpose of a cold call is to set an appointment. And if you're trying to sell all of the steak in that phone call, you're gonna give away all your surprises and you're not gonna be able to close them because most people at that point aren't prepared to close the deal and or may not even be the right person, or there may need to be someone else involved. And so the idea of this is to get them interested enough and to commit to a time that all the right people who can close a deal will be in the next conversation. So if this is an office manager and who needs to close the deal is the owner, and they need to both be there, then the purpose of this email is to get the office manager interested enough to get the owner on the next call with me. So that way, when I pitch all the sizzle and I show him how this app works and why it works, and he gets excited about it, he can close the deal right there. You don't want to keep getting passed to another guy, passed to another guy, passed to another guy. And the other thing is that you don't want to leave your pitch in the hands of someone else. This office manager for the dentist may be excellent at managing, dentist related stuff, but he's not a salesman. He or she is not a salesman. So when she goes and tells her boss about this tool, she may not do a good job of explaining all the things that she needs to. So the whole sell is in her hands. And that's the last thing that you want to happen. So that's the other point of having a great presentation is you guarantee the information that you want being passed on to the right person is all there. And again, you're selling the sizzle, you're showing the sizzle, you're showing these apps and what they're capable of doing, but not really how they work and how it's all going to come together. But it's just enough to get them interested and want to basically set up that next appointment and have the decision maker. So as you can see, you can kind of click through these. These are in my case study. They're real basic information. And the whole idea, again, is just kind of touching on some topics of things that we're capable of doing and stuff like that. And so after I send this presentation to them, the next thing that I do is say, is try to set up the appointment. And when you set up an appointment, you want to be specific. A lot of mistakes people do is they'll say, "Hey, can I give you a call next week?" Or "Hey, can you give me a call next week?" Well, if you do that, you leave the opportunity open for that person to agree with you, get off the phone or close the email, and they may have every intention of calling you back, but they're going to get busy with the rest of their day and they're going to forget. So what you do is you get them to commit to a special time, and you say, when they say that they're interested, you say, "Hey, I have some time on Tuesday at 9:30 in the morning, and I have some time on Thursday at 5:30 in the evening." And by giving them two available options, you're going to give them a morning time and an evening time. You're going to let them kind of pick which one they want. And usually, if they can't do either one of those, they'll come back with you with at least the time that they do have. And that's the idea we're trying to get here is them to commit.
Hey, Colby.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Colby. Let me. Can you make your screen? Can you make that your screen full? This presentation because it's only a small portion of your full screen. Can you make it bigger?
You can try. Let's see.
So everybody, you might be able to zoom in. I don't know if you can expand it all the way out.
Yeah, I always have difficult because it's my Mac is pretty huge, and so if people have different size screens, it usually. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm on a 29 inch, and it's pretty small.
Is it getting better?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
All right. So by getting them
There. Yeah, that's much better.
So by getting them to commit to a specific time, it basically makes the next step really easy. Is if they don't call you at that time, and I usually like to say, let me call them, but this is kind of up to you and what your experiences are going to be. But the whole idea is that if they don't call you, at least when you call, you have a reference, a reason. You can pick up the phone and talk to the gatekeeper and say, "Hey, is Tammy there?" And when they ask why, they say, "I have an appointment with her at 9:30." It gets you past that gatekeeper again, right? And you have something to reference. And so when the Tammy gets on the phone, you say, "Hey, this is Colby. Did you get a chance to read that email?" Blah blah, and you have a good reference point. But so that's the purpose. Whether you're doing the cold call or this follow up email, is that you're wanting to get an appointment set, and you want to verify that the right people are on there. So once they verify the appointment time, you want to also verify that whoever the decision maker, and you say, "Hey, is everybody going to be involved in the conversation that we need to make a decision? Are you the one that we need to talk to, or is there someone else that you can help me bring in on the conversation so that we can make sure all the right people are involved to make a decision on this?" And by asking them to help you do this, you don't feel like you're not being rude to them. You're not saying like, "Hey, you're not important. Let's get this other guy in here," right? what you're doing is saying, hey, could you help me make sure that the right people are on the call, the next call that we have to make the decision? And then you're bringing her on the team, so to speak, at least subconsciously, where she's going to help you figure out what is the best deal, because she's already sold enough on this product. She thinks it's a good idea. It's going to work for her business, and she wants to get the next person into it. So you want to tell her, what can we do to make sure the right people are on the next call? Can you help me do that? So then she's going to go ahead and make sure the owner's there, and or whoever it is, maybe it's a marketing person or whatever, or co-owner. But then the next call that you do, your actual appointment, this is really the first time that you're ever going to have to start using any actual sales techniques. This process has bypassed and automated so much of the difficulties and the trouble areas that most salesmen have, is, getting past those gatekeepers and building that, getting even the chance to present their tool, no matter how wonderful it is. This method gets you past all that. And the first chance that you're going to have to actually show any sales skill or any product knowledge really is going to be that first appointment with all the decision makers at an agreed upon time, and you're going to have all your stuff ready. So at least it gets you right there in the spot you need to be, and it increases your close ratio. Right. So once you get this next call and you get on there, I truly believe that there really isn't any objection that you're going to get that you should accept, other than, I already have someone doing this for me. There isn't an answer of it costs too much, or it's not worth it, or reviews, people don't really read reviews. There isn't really anything that anyone's going to say to you that I think personally that they can say that makes any sense, other than, I'm already paying for someone to do this. And I'm going to go over some of the objections I hear and some of the reasons why they're very easy to overcome. So one is that I can't afford this. So what does that really mean if someone says I can't afford this? It's really easy to overcome this because there's a lot of hard studies that have been done already. For example, Harvard tried to go out and disprove the benefits of a Yelp star, and in doing so, they did just the opposite. So the Harvard study showed that for every star increase, there was an increase in the business's bottom line from 9 to 18%. And so that's huge. And this is a study. It's done. They did it over multiple businesses. The only ones that it didn't really affect were giant franchises like McDonald's. Their impact with customers was just too strong. But the little restaurants, the little businesses, the smaller franchises, every single one of them, every time the Yelp increase went up 1 star, there was somewhere in the range, an average of 9 to 18%. And so that's not just from 2 to 5, every star increase. So if you go up 2 stars, you're looking at a double that, and you're going to really increase it. It just starts at 18% with their bottom line increase. So you can have a lot of statistics online, and this part of it's going to be on the sales page, but you can Google these and find these statistics. But these are really, really important for showing them that there is a drastic improvement in the bottom line by using reviews and improving reviews. The other thing is that you can identify with different companies that you're talking to. For example, the dentist, if you ask them a question, how much does each customer on average make for you? And, they don't have to give you that answer out loud, but they know the answer in their head. And when you give that illustration, kind of like I did earlier, of when a person moves into the town and they see that 1 star rating, and then they see a 4 star and they go there and they probably go for life, don't just ask them, how much do you make off every customer when they visit? How much would it cost you if you lost a customer for life? Well, the next thing that you can show them is super valuable. You can actually put a number on that. So there's a really cool tool, and I'm going to bring this up front. It's right here. And they call it the keyword planner. If anybody's done any SEO in the past, they would have remembered this as a Google AdSense keyword tool. And what it lets you do is you can type a keyword. For example, here was restaurants, and then you can pick a city like Montgomery in this example, and then you can see how often that keyword is being searched. So restaurants in Montgomery is being searched 4,400 times every single month. So if you want to do this with a dentist, I know that dentists at one time in Houston was being searched 4,000 times every month. So if you have a dentist who's trying to tell you, I don't know if it's worth it to pay this $300 a month or, blah, 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 you can get them to find out how much they're making off or losing for every time they lose a customer for the lifetime, show them how often their particular niche is being searched for, and then you can start putting some numbers in their head. All right, if dentists are being searched for 4,000 times a month in Houston, what if 1% of those are coming and finding your business next to your competitor? Well, that's 40 people a month that are for sure not clicking on that one-star business. So 40 people a month you're potentially sending to your competitors. You're almost marketing to them to go to your competitors. Well, how much does 40 customers cost you for life? Multiplied out by life. Well, then they can start really putting some numbers to this. And of that 1%, if 10% were to have come to your business, if we were to flip this around and only 10% of the 1% that found you came to your business, how much money would that bring into your business? They start calculating it. I guarantee you that our prices start making sense to them. Our monthly prices easily start making sense to them. So this is a really cool tool that I like. And what's cool about it is you can kind of customize it to get these numbers that you want, because although restaurants is being searched in Montgomery 4,400 times, I didn't even include barbecue in Montgomery, or Subway sandwiches, or whatever it is, dentist reviews. You can really start changing this numbers up to make sure that the numbers meet what you want to. And you also articulate that to them and say, when I gave you those numbers to think about, 4,000 dentists being searched every month in Houston, that doesn't also include the 3,000 that are searching for dentist reviews, or the 2,000 that are searching for dentistry in Houston, or online, whatever it is. These numbers can start really adding up, and they start really seeing how often people are using their mobile phones and then the internet to search for their businesses. So never take "I can't afford it" as a reason why they can't do this, because you can show them how this works. Cars is another great example. The average car dealership has $300 per car that's on lot set aside just for marketing. So if one car gets sold in a month by using this tool, and we already showed how impactful these things are, and people are looking these kind of things up online. Well, if they can sell one car in a month, the marketing budget alone pays for this business for the average price that you would sell it for. And if you throw that number out there too, by the way, I learned that from a really high up guy who was in the car dealership, and he told me that. But that's a really powerful statement, that if you know that on average that every car dealership has $300 per car on lot, and you can look at the lot that you're on, you can start really calculating how much money they have set aside for marketing, and you can really get into some great overcoming objections.
And luxury car dealers, it's even higher than that.
Yeah. This is, like I said, this is the
And
average,
if you deal,
and so it goes up really
yeah. So
high.
guys think they've got the money.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great thing about car dealerships, since we're on this topic, this is some information that everybody should know in this industry. About a year ago, a little over a year ago, car dealerships took the biggest hit out of anybody in ORM. They used to be instructed at one time by Google that they were able to do stuff. They were like, "How do we get reviews? How can we do this?" And they wanted to do it white hat. Well, Google told them what you can do is you can put like an iPad or a laptop or something in your place of business, and you can have customers, leave the reviews there. Well, let's fast forward a year later when Google starts buying out, merging with Zagat. There's a guy, I don't even know the pronunciation to this day, but when they bought out Zagat, they were going to merge with them, and they thought it would be very simple, and they also thought Zagat was going to be helpful in the process. But what happened was they were like, "No, that's your deal. You figure it all out." Well, it ended up being a bigger undertaking than Google expected. Zagat used their own rating system. They used words. Google used stars, and they had to figure out how to take all the existing reviews and combine them all. And it was a really big undertaking. And so what they did was Google kind of needed to clean house a little bit. So they implemented these new, extremely strict algorithms where it made it almost impossible to get a review posted. For some of the grayer hat side of things, when people actually could take reviews and post it at different review sites with tools like LBL Robot and stuff like that, they were almost impossible to do at Google. And they used to be, you would have an 80% post rate. Well, it dropped to 0. And I literally tested it out where I would manually go to like a sister-in-law's house or something and try to post. And I don't care how realistic it was, nobody could get a review to post. The reason why was it was too much information. They were so concerned with sorting out the old information that they couldn't accept new information. Number two, they wanted to clean house. So what they did is they started putting these spam filters on there, and anybody who met that spam criteria, they had their reviews deleted. So one of those spam criteria was if it's multiple reviews from the same IP. Well, if a car dealership has an iPad sitting at their place of business and they had all these customers leaving reviews there, you have hundreds of reviews from the same IP. So guess what happened to those reviews? Bam, disappeared instantly. 4-star car dealerships went to 2-star, 1-star businesses with only 3 or 4 reviews. And you know what happened? Instantly, there was a dramatic and horrible effect on their bottom line. They saw how their business changed when they were a 4-star business to a 2-star business. And then there was no guesswork anymore about whether or not reviews are important. It was fact. And so car dealerships started scrambling to try to fix this problem. That's when we first had our first rush of, of ORM being very easy to sell, is that car dealerships were scrambling to fix this problem. And the great thing about it, this example, is that these car dealerships no longer argued whether or not this was important. And to this day, they don't argue. No one's forgotten this. Anybody that is over a year or so old in the car dealership businesses know how important this is. And Cadillac, for example, they were spending $300,000 a year trying to fix this problem with ORM alone. I'm not talking about just marketing. I'm talking about online reviews and their online presence. Cadillac was spending $300,000 a year. So this really opens to your mind and really gives you some confidence when you're talking about how important it is to manage this process. And this is a great story to know and some great facts to know, so that you have some confidence that when you're talking to someone, whether it's even if it's in another industry, you can refer to this as examples of how reviews impacted businesses. And so that's one of the main reasons that I never let a person use, I can't afford this example. There's too many examples that it is important. One of the other things that you get is when you're talking to them and you're trying to close this, we're getting along fine so far. So it's like they're basically saying that, we're kind of happy where we are. We've gotten along with this so far. Well, this is another time that you can use the Google keyword tool and show that example, because really what you need them to articulate is that, are you telling me that if I can't bring you more business that you won't want it? And then you have to have them say, yeah, I don't want any more business. And that really sounds kind of silly coming out of your mouth, right? Who doesn't want more businesses? And so I always make sure I use this tool to kind of reiterate that again and show how it's potential for you to bring them more business. And then you isolate it and say, well, is that the only reason? I mean, you're just totally comfortable here, or is there something else? And when you get them to isolate this objection and say, yeah, it's just really, we're just, we don't think it's going to work or whatever, you can start isolating what these objections are, so that when you then overcome these objections, your close ratio is going to be higher, because you've already gotten them to admit that this is the only thing preventing me from buying today, is this particular objection. And when you then overcome that objection, it's basically like, all right, so we've done it and we're ready to close the deal, right? So saying that we're getting along so fine, in the same manner that you can show where the value is, you can also show how many people they're potentially missing out on. So again, this keyword tool is another one that's really good to have in there, because you can show them how many potential customers they are missing out on. And again, who's going to say I don't want more business? If they really say that, they're probably trying to get you out of there, and they don't really want to tell you the real reason. Maybe they're embarrassed that they can't afford it, or who knows. But at least you can isolate the question, and you can overcome it with a tool like this, and potentially close the deal and save it. The last thing again is that I hear is no one really reads reviews. Again, you got all the statistics, the same tools and that you can use to cover this again. No one's going to be able to tell you that no one reads your reviews. There's too many statistics out there that's been done, and you can Google these. A lot of statistics say that there's, I believe it's 94% of all online people refer to reviews online to before making a buying decision, and they say that like 84% of them all refer to reviews before making a buying decisions, or that it somehow impacts them. So there's some numbers out there that you can have, and there are proven studies that are really great to have in your tool. And I suggest you research these and have these at your disposal so that you can qualify them.
Yeah, guys, if you go back through, just do a search for some emails from me. Just put in brand review. Bring up all the emails under that heading, that subject. You'll see I actually sent you a list of all the statistics surrounding online reviews, because I'm a big fan of using stats and facts, because they do help you sell. And then you can combine the little cheat sheet and whip that out and just point to a fact and mention it to a business owner. But I did send you out a pretty good size list of facts. This was maybe 4 or 5 months ago, so I'm sure they've increased since then. But if you want kind of a shortcut way to do it, you can go and find that.
Yeah, awesome.
By doing a search through your email.
Yeah, have those stats. Those are very important, and and the more you use the stats, the more they'll be familiar, and you'll be able to recall them. But those are always really, really good to have. The whole idea is that the more you do this, the more you're going to run into the typical objections. And if you know what all the objections are going to be, and you know what the right answers are for them are, then you're always going to be prepared every business you go into, and you're always going to have an answer, and your close ratio is going to go up. And so it's very, very important to have all this information with you ahead of time and know them. And like I said, the best tactic is, if you start getting those objections, always isolate them. And what I mean by that is say, is this the only thing that you have a problem with? Is this the only thing preventing you from signing up? Is that you can't afford it, or it's, you don't think people read reviews? And get them to admit and confirm that, yeah, this is the only reason we're not buying today. That way, it gives you the chance to solve that problem and show how you overcome it, whatever that objection may be. And once you overcome it, you then proven that, hey, you admitted already that you do want to buy us, as long as we're solving this problem. And by doing that, you help close your deals a little bit better. The last thing that I want to talk about to as we kind of wrap it up is what some challenges are when you're doing some cold calling and walk-ins versus the email strategy that I've shown. One of the first issues with just walking into business, driving down the street, just walking in random businesses over and over and over, is that, number one, you don't know if the right people are going to be there. So you have no idea if the decision is going to make her. You're going to have to get past whoever's at the front desk to go talk to the manager or whoever it is. You don't know if that manager is busy. I had a pretty bad experience one time where I walked into a restaurant and the owner happened to be there. I happened to get past the gatekeeper and actually got a conference with them where I could sit down and talk to him. But what happened was, it was really, really busy in there, and the only place for him to talk to me was actually in the restaurant. And so I was sitting here trying to prove that there's a problem and establish there's a problem with his online reviews. And I'm having to whisper because there's clients next to me. His customers are there. And the last thing I want to do is talk about how bad his customers are talking about him in front of other customers. So it was really caught off guard because neither one of us were prepared for this meeting. And so there was that challenge of trying to establish this problem and convey that to him. And he was really in a very defensive posture and really I saw him looking around, and it was just really hard to give a presentation because we were there in front of everybody. So that's one of the first challenges that you have is it's just too unorganized. You don't know if the right people are going to be there. No one's prepared for it. They're not in a problem solving mood. None of these things that we talked about earlier exists in this scenario. So your sales ability really have to come out in this, and it's really just a waste of energy, in my opinion, to go about it in this manner. The next thing about it is you sometimes run into what I call a false decision maker. So you think you're talking to the right person. You maybe ask the front desk, who's the manager here that I can speak with, and they give you a conference with the manager. And let's say you even get in a private room and you're able to start doing your whole pitch. Well, when you close this person, a lot of times this person may be the manager of the store, but he's not a decision maker as far as financial decisions. He may not have the authority to make that decision. And again, you just gave him your entire pitch, your entire spiel. You're talking for 30 minutes, and then you find out, hey, he's not even the guy I need to talk to. And you know what he'll say is, well, I'll go talk to the owner about it, let you know what he thinks. So again, you're putting your sale in the hands of another person and hoping this person can go sell the pitch as well as you did. So those are some of the main challenges that I have with doing cold calls exclusively and without any prior information and stuff like that, or doing walk-ins, is that it's too unorganized and you don't have the person in the right mind state to actually close a deal at a higher percentage rate. So this method that I've been sending out to you, I really want you guys to start trying it. There's some templates that I've provided with you. Feel free to switch them up a little bit and put your own spin on them and do your own case studies to find out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But I really want you guys to give it a shot and get out there and start trying this. As a lot of you know, I had a contest this morning where the first 5 people that emailed me, I allowed them to, I'm going to do a blast for them with my lead generator. And I want you to see how effective this is with the template I use that you guys can copy and use with either your generator or manually or whatever it is. But you'll see how many decision makers you're getting respond to you, and then how receptive they are to what you're saying when you use this method. So, starting this Friday or Saturday or Sunday, I want you guys to go out and at least try this. Do a blast. At least, try to do 75 emails if you can. And the reason I say to do it from Friday to Sunday is you want it to be during the weekend when nobody's there, so that Monday morning when everybody's fresh and ready for work and they're ready to do business, that they'll open up their email and they'll have this email in front of them and give you plenty of time to schedule an appointment during that week, and you'll have plenty of time to work. So Monday morning, you'll open up your email and see about 30 replies of hot leads that you can start making some calls with. All right. So let's make that a goal this Friday. The rest of this week, tomorrow, start looking for some leads, start building a list, and then Friday through Sunday, try to get at least 50 to 75 emails out. And I want you to see what happens on Monday morning and how many leads you get. And if any of you want to call me or Chris and talk to us about some of the responses you get and what your next step should be, whether it's making a call to them or sending a presentation, feel free to give us a call or give me a call or shoot me an email. I'll be happy to troubleshoot this with you and step you through the process, because I want you guys successful. And I'll, as a lot of you know who've given me called, I spend 30 minutes on the phone with you sometimes, or I may spend, back and forth emails troubleshooting. I have no problem doing that. I love this. I'm passionate about it. But my main goal is to make sure that you guys are successful, because that's what makes the entire business successful. So please, again, let's make that a goal. Let's do some searching out there for, tonight if you're in the mood, tomorrow, but sometime during the week, let's start blasting out some emails so we can start doing that next week. And that's it for me, Chris. Do you have anything that you want to?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, that's fantastic content, Colby. Really, really great stuff. And of course, guys, this can be applied to if you're promoting the brand review as well, which leads me to this. Our next webinar that we do, we're going to talk about how that we can integrate the two together and work with ReviewUs as well as the brand review, and whether that's offering either or both. So, because I know that's a lot of people have those questions. Well, how do I when do I do this? When do I do that? Should I offer this or should I offer that first? So we're going to discuss all that and give you some ideas. I mean, there's obviously not going to be a right answer that's going to fit one size fit all answer for everybody. But you have two very, very powerful tools at your disposal right now. I told you this 6 months ago, if you remember, that this whole area we're in right now, this space we're in, reputation management, this needs to be your front end um, prospecting angle. You go in with this, and then you open up yourself to sell other products and services later on, even if you don't feel like reputation management is something that you want to do as kind of a full-time gig. Maybe your passion is creating videos. Maybe it's social media. It doesn't matter. Don't look at this singularly where, oh, well, I'm locked in. I have to offer reputation management, and that's all I can offer. No, you're building up a very valuable pipeline of customers, clients that believe in you and trust in you, and you're helping them with something which is very personal to them. You know, what people are saying about them, what people think and feel about them online. So, and I told you guys a long time ago, this is going to become more mainstream now. It already is. People are, as we've discussed tonight, people are more aware that they need to check out a business and see what others are saying, think, and feel about them before they decide to do something themselves. And it's only going to get stronger and stronger, I think, especially with this new edition of Google changing around their search criteria, where you can filter out businesses. You don't even have to look at the businesses that have 1 or 2 stars. You can only look at businesses that have 3, 4 stars. So that's going to really narrow down the search. And ultimately, what it's doing is Google is giving the user the best possible experience and giving them exactly what they're searching for. So we're still, I think, and I said this 6 months ago when I released the brand review. It might have been longer than that, actually. That we're kind of in the pioneering stages of all this reputation stuff, reputation online, and I still think we're in the infancy stages of all this. You've got a perfect opportunity to kind of to kind of ride piggyback to these bigger companies that are advertising $10,000, $20,000 retainers per month to help a business out with their business, and you can come in and offer a much more affordable solution to them.
To be
That will
clear,
probably end up
that's
helping them more in the long
$10,000.
run.
That's usually $10,000 just for the consulting. That's not even the implementation. It's very common to charge $10,000 just for the consultant fee, and then another $2,000 or $3,000 a month to implement the stuff. So there's a lot of
Yeah,
money that's out there.
and this is a big space. I mean, there's a lot we can do in terms of going vertical with this, ORM. But I like ReviewUs and also the brand review. And the reason why I created it, because it gives, both of these products give the business owners something tangible that they can understand. And we're not selling what we can do tomorrow or how we're gonna improve them 2 weeks from now, a month from now, 2 months from now. We're giving them something they can put in place right now and start seeing positive changes to their business. And that makes it easier for you to sell, number one, and it makes it much easier for a business to make a decision, a yes or no decision, because they can see the whole thing in front of them. There's nothing to hide here. I'm not just telling you what I'm going to do. I'm showing you what I'm going to actually do, and here is the system you're looking at. Both these tools enable you to do that because you can demo both of them. They become your best sales tool. You can do the presentation, then you can show them the actual system. This is it. This is what you get. Whether brand review or whether ReviewUs, this is it. Nothing to hide. Here's how it works. Let's get signed up. So these are very powerful tools that you have. You first need to understand how they both work, and when you do gain a greater understanding of that, your intuition is going to tell you which one you should use at the time. But we are going to talk about that on the next webinar on how to integrate, how to put them both together, I should say.
Well, what they'll find too is that
one when you offer the other.
even if they do pick one or the other, what's great about your tool, and I'm excited to talk about it on the next webinar, is that either one can be an upsell to the other one, because there's some strategies that I know where you implement your tool and they work together, and it kind of ties into a little bit with SEO, which is kind of the realm that we're in, but there's some really exciting things to talk about where you can have a customer that you get, through yours or mine, and then you get the customer happy and understanding how this works, and then you kind of get them to buy in the idea of becoming more of a complete ORM package coming aboard, and I'll show y'all, and it's going to be really cool to see how it works together and complete a full ORM experience.
Yeah. I mean, there's no shortage of additional services that we can offer within this space or outside this space, whether it's mobile websites or whatever. You know that. This has been forced down your throat. Offers and offers that are coming at you. You know there's other things that you can offer, but we need to really back up and think about this as a way to build a pipeline that will pay you for years and years. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a pipeline of established clients that trust us. They believe in us. We've done some things for them already, and now we become an advisor to them. We're never selling them anything, because they're going to be going on our recommendation on what we think or what they think we should do they should do next, and that's the position you want to be in. And that's why I feel like what Kobe discussed tonight on the prospecting and reaching out and handling objections and all that is you need to have that in the forefront of your mind. Is I'm building a customer that can potentially pay me for years, and it's not a one-off reputation management. Okay, let me go to the next one. And even if you decide you don't want to do reputation later on, or for some reason you want to follow another route, you're able to do that because you've started to put that pipeline in place and then build it up. So that's I think the whole basis of this, and this gives you an opportunity to go after something. First of all, we call it low-hanging fruit, obviously businesses that are struggling, but we can literally push the pain button for these businesses, and they can feel that pain as long as we don't come across too aggressively, and we can drive it home on a personal level without pissing them off, and it becomes the perfect entry point for marketers, I think, in terms of getting in with these businesses and establishing and then providing a very valuable solution. I think reviews are the most powerful advertising that's in existence. Now, whether a business believes that or not is probably based on their past beliefs and what they've been using for years, the follow the herd mentality, where they just do what every other business has done or what they've always done, and they just put ads in the newspaper, radio ads, print ads, whatever it may be, and that's what they've always done. So this is kind of new territory for them, and ultimately down the road this can be a lot more cost-effective solution for them, and maybe they can start striking out some of those advertising mediums that they've been paying dearly for every month. Some of them are paying thousands of dollars for advertising that's not producing much at all, maybe just enough to stay afloat. So this could be a replacement for that at a much, much lower cost. I mean, it's ridiculous. And once you point out the power of what people say, think, and feel, and it's very powerful. As you can see, it's not just us saying this. It's all across the internet now. It's on the major websites like Amazon, and I think even eBay's using it now. They're trying. They had some problems with it initially, but they're doing stuff with reviews now, and it's going to be the way to do business. The consumer is going to want to know who they're dealing with before they deal with them. That's the bottom line. So everybody's moving in that direction, and you guys need to be on this same boat. So that's really all I have. I think that was great information. You guys know what to do now. You have anything else to add?
No, is there any questions that you have showing up that anybody's asked?
I don't see any.
I keep seeing the number.
I can't see the questions actually.
Yeah, I see that there's
You're
questions.
gonna have to look.
Let me see.
And we can answer a couple questions and we'll close out.
Yeah, I see that there's questions being asked, but for some reason it's not letting me. When I click the button at 12, it's jumping up 13. Give me a second. If you can ask them in the chat box, guys. For some reason, when I'm clicking into the questions, it's not allowing me to see anything. So if you can get it in the chat box, maybe you can ask it there. I see the questions going up, but I can't.
Kobe, can you get access to them?
I'm trying.
What we can do, Kobe, And what we can do is we can, as long as you can get access to them after the webinar, we can answer them and then send it out an email blast. I'll send it out to everybody if you want to do that.
Yeah, yeah. So let's
Because
do
I
this.
don't want to keep everybody on too
Yeah,
long.
I'm okay with that. So let's do this. Anybody, and regardless of whether you have a question now, you have a question later, you can always send me an email. And if you ever want to schedule a one-on-one conversation with me, I'm always open to that as well. But my email is Colby, Colby, at reviewus.com. So if I didn't answer your question on here, because I for some reason I can't see it, shoot it over in an email. And what I'll do is I'll collectively get all the questions being asked and I'll answer all those questions and then we'll blast it out to everybody. And so we make sure that all the questions are asked and answered. And again, if you have anything that you want to do, like set up a one-on-one with me, or let's say you're getting some emails that are that you want to troubleshoot with and you're not really sure which direction to go or what to do next, you can always contact me with those as well and I'll troubleshoot them with you. Okay. But I see the questions
Yeah,
come
because
in here.
I'm not getting questions either.
I'm seeing them.
I'm
It
not
says
seeing
question
questions come over
14.
either. So there might be something wrong with the
Oh,
setting.
wait, here we go. I found it. It was behind my screen. Let's see here. Um, I find a lot of dentists are on demand force that is collecting reviews for. Let me stretch this out. Give me 1 second. Okay, I see a lot of dentists on demand force that is collecting reviews for them. What is your take on that? Demand Force, I believe, is an online reputation tool. If I'm not mistaken, I think that they're the ones who kind of use an SEO approach where they basically create a bunch of mini blogs and they create a bunch of web pages and articles and stuff like that. And the idea is to smother a keyword with a bunch of positive information and push negative information to the second or third page. And what my thoughts are on that, and
Yeah,
if I'm wrong, forgive me, but it still is a question that needs to be answered. Is that's a great thing to do? That's actually part of what some more high level ORM is all about is that when ORM is managing what happens when someone searches for a business specifically. So that first page of Google is going to have, like 14 to 15 slots. You want those slots to be filled out with nothing but positive information, whether it's reviews, press releases, uh, Facebook with positive information, or these little mini blogs. Chris has an awesome tool that creates a page that can collect reviews. That's one of those slots that it could take up. That's what ORM is taking up those slots so that any negative information like a ripoff report, a bankruptcy, that bounces to the second page where only 8% of people ever visit. 92% of all people only stay on that first page and really only look at the first three slots. But that first page, if you can create a positive shield with reviews and all these different things, then you're providing correct ORM for your client because that shield will make everything bounce off to the area that doesn't affect the customer.
right. And the brand review indirectly does that, but at the same time, it gives you something tangible that can be shown and sold right now with traditional ORM 101, if you will, in the way most people are administering this service, is they're doing just what you mentioned. And but still, can you sell that, guys? Can you go out and sell future results? And that's what we're doing with that type of structure. And we're relying upon SEO again. We're dealing with SEO, and you know how that is, right?
Exactly.
We know how many changes there are with Google and all that, and you've got to be pretty sharp. And that's why the key word being here is higher level ORM, because it is something that we want to do later on. Now you may have a client that is of need of that higher level ORM. They really need it, but and then at that point you can start looking for sources,
Yeah, and what's going to happen through your.
reputable sources that can provide that service for you. And I've sent you, pardon me?
Sorry, there's a delay, so it sounded like you
And I've
stopped.
sent you, I was saying that and I've sent you resources. Um, Jeff Smith has a great product for higher level reputation management, and there's a lot of ways to go with that. But a lot of us here on this call, and I know most people on my group need to get that entry level down, and they need to build that foundation first, before they start adding layers on top of that house. You need to start out and get this established, and then later on, that's a good problem to have, is where you have a business. Review Us and the brand review are just not going to be enough. We're going to need to do more. You're going to need to do more for us, and that time is going to come. But in terms of volume and getting that pipeline built up and selling clients on this whole concept of review management, these two tools need to be what you're using. And later on, in my recommendation anyway, later on, there'll be the opportunity to upsell, because we're getting into territory where it's better sold once we have an established client under our wing, as opposed to, what are you going to do? You're going to email or walk into a business and say, hey, I can help you with these negative reviews. Just give me a couple months and pay me $1,500 now, and I'll get it fixed, and it'll be done in a couple months. All right? Yeah, right. Come on, it's not going to happen. Let's wake up. And that's one of the many reasons why I created the brand review system, and Review Us follows in those same footsteps. But as I mentioned, indirectly, we can kind of accomplish that with the brand review. And this is not a brand review webinar, but because it will populate search engines with content, with an online property, an asset for the business that does showcase positive reviews, that will come up in the search result, as long as you optimize the portal correctly to the business name. It's going to come up. But we need to go beyond that, of course, and then have links on other properties, social media, and forums and all that. And these are more specialty type services that are provided by established ORM companies. And I think even Colby might have something in the pipeline on that. But there's a lot of good things, that Colby's been sharing with me. Some of the tools that he has coming out for prospecting and things like that, guys. You need to get excited about this. I know it's been an hour and a half. I think we probably should. We had some people dropping off. Might be getting late here. Probably we should answer these questions in an email, or they can email you directly if you want. You can give them to me, and I'll broadcast them to the whole list. Or you can get in touch with us personally if you have a question. But I want you guys to get excited, because there's a lot of things that the folks at Review Us are working on that are going to help your business, whether your initial focus is Review Us or the brand review. So really, you need to get excited. You need to get re-energized. If you lost a little bit of the passion, you got shiny object syndrome, you came back into your life, which is very possible. You need to block that out and get back on track. The same, and I had this same discussion 6 months ago, or 4 months ago, about how we need to focus and rid ourselves of the shiny object syndrome, because it's just a disease, and it's taken over. So anyway, I think we'll call it for tonight. And if you have some questions, send them over. We'll get them answered for you. You guys know what you need to do now. Start building your business, man. Focus on this as the centerpiece for your business right now. Everything else can come in behind it and surround it, and you're going to have a powerful asset, and not only clients that you can work with, but something that you could sell later on, a business that you could actually sell for real dollars down the road if you decide you want to retire from this, and who knows, you want to take up underwater basket weaving or something like that, So with that being said, thanks, Colby. Awesome information, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time.
I appreciate
and guys,
everybody.
Thanks for hanging out with us for an hour and a half.
I appreciate everybody for coming on. And like I said, make it a goal. Search for those people and blast it out. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take to start closing these deals. These are methods that are proven and work. So really just set aside some time and make it a goal to blast out 50 emails, however you want to, whether you do it manually or with a tool. But make that a goal that by Sunday you've blasted to 50 people, and that you're ready to start doing this on Monday. And like I said, I'll troubleshoot you the rest of the way if you feel that you need help responding to these emails. But let's get these leads in your email box. I want to hear about them.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great night, morning, afternoon, whatever it is where you are. and we'll be in touch soon.
All
Take
right,
care.
take care. Thank you.